A very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Q8 Pilot channel and another stream. Today, we are going to be taking a look at the IXEG Boeing 737-300 Classic Pro. That's exactly the product name on the Aviation web store. Want to welcome all of you guys here in chat. And we have today with us Jesse. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us. Rand Cooley, welcome. Glad to have you with us today. Stan. And we also have with us Wes Wheel. Welcome aboard. Bradley Evans, welcome. Glad to have you with us this evening. The Cargo Guy, welcome. Glad to have you here. And Rhythm Dutta, is it? Welcome. Welcome, guys. Glad to have you here. So, the context, there is a little bit of a different context to this stream because in September 2023, I made a stream on the IXEG 737 with the lead developer of the aircraft, Tom Kyler. And the interview actually came as a result of me being Q8 pilot in reviewing the Classic Pro, and I've had a lot of complaints, if you will, or not complaints, but point of constructive criticism that did not sit very well with Tom at the time. So he sent me a private message and he said, look, I don't agree with this, what you're saying, because I have a roadmap for this aircraft and it's going to be improved with time, and thus the astronomical price of $85 for the aircraft, which is this is considered to be very expensive payware for X-Plane. So now that said, today we're going to be taking a look at the state of the aircraft 2 years later with absolutely zero updates. There has not been any updates to the aircraft. I don't even know if the project is alive. I'm not active on the Aviation forums, so I haven't been following any news there. But it's been 2 years since the updates. And this aircraft, I must say, still stands very strong in terms of its fidelity, the sounds, the texturing of the aircraft. When this aircraft was first introduced to X-Plane, when it first introduced and deployed and released for X-Plane, it was by far the most immersive and most advanced aircraft available at the time of a classic, Boeing for flight simulation. I think it was really a transformation, a step forward, if you will, in the development space for aircraft, for payware aircraft, for X-Plane and flight sim. And as you can see, it still until this very day looks very, very nice. The updates that they brought initially into X-Plane 12 are quite nice. They're quite commendable. The aircraft looks very, very nice in terms of the texturing, both inside and out. And what I really like about this aircraft is this absolutely amazing 3D cockpit. This is just looks so real. Again, it can use a lot of improvements, especially this panel work here. And by today's standards, $85 for this aircraft is considered too much. And I will tell you exactly why as soon as we reach cruise. But right now, let's set up the aircraft and let's get it off the ground. We are currently, I think I do not have Navigraph, so let's bring up our friendly Navigraph charts. And of course, I highly recommend that you get Navigraph charts. Ooh, it looks like this runway still is the runway that's we can take runway 30, but we'll leave it for now. We'll see if we need to change that a little later. Okay, so the first thing is while the aircraft while there was an EFB introduced in this version, it's still very much lacking, and it is not the price of the aircraft is not justified with having an EFB like this, especially when it's priced at $85 and no updates in 2 years, just under 2 years right now. So yeah. So anyway, let's go to preferences. We're going to make sure the weights are in kilograms. And this is our flight today. I think I missed that. So let me just very quickly here, let me cancel this. So we are currently at Basel Mulhouse in France. I'm sure I mispronounced that royally. We are going to be departing runway 33 through the LB7 November. We are going to the Czech Republic today, and specifically to Prague, arriving there runway 24. And if we look at our sim brief plan, I believe our cruise altitude is 36,000 feet. 35, yeah, so 35,000 feet should work just fine. We have all our information here, so everything here is good. You can switch, by the way, between the those. I prefer the steam gauges, but you can change this to analog. I really don't like that. I like the classic analog there. Looks much, much better. You can add the eyebrow windows if you want. So there are some features there, and you can also change the joystick dead zones and, you know, master volume and what have you. And this aircraft has really very nice sounds that were recorded from the real aircraft. So we're going to go here directly to pre-flight, and we're going to bring up Navigraph charts. We're going to need to put in the fuel manually because this aircraft does not have, you know, like SimBrief integration or Navigraph integration. So we're going to have to do this manually. So we're going to first take a look at our fuel. We have 6,540 kilograms. That's about 6.5 tons of fuel. We're going to round this up, and we're going to say 3 through 3 to 53. So let's say 300 in each tank. Okay, so 300. That's 360. That's fine. Close enough. And 3316. Okay, we're going to say start fueling, and we'll automatically refuel the aircraft. We're going to come to the passengers here, and if we look here, it doesn't really matter much. 115. I don't think it can take 115. 102 is the max. So why not? Let's put this as the max. Let's go to cargo, and let's see here. Non-passenger cargo is 2.9. So let's add a little bit there. There we go. That's the passenger cargo bias. We'll leave that alone. And we have everything here. Actually, maybe we can, I don't know if we can change that a little bit there. There we go. We'll leave that just right there at 20.5 with a trim of 4.4. Okay, excellent. So that's already done. And everything here is red. Ground services, we're going to connect the ground power unit. And I don't think we need the air supply, so you can also open the doors if you wish to do so. And with that, we can now start prepping the aircraft. Guys, if you are enjoying yourself and you enjoy the Q at Pilot channel, I really, really appreciate you smashing that like button because it really does help the channel. So thank you very much in advance. Okay, so first thing first, we're going to make sure that the fuel cutoff switches are off and that the the throttles are in idle detent, the flaps are retracted, and we're going to come here, the landing gear is down, and then we're going to move up here. We're going to make sure that the wipers are in the off position, and then we can come over here and turn the battery on. The sounds are exceptional on this aircraft, and it's still, the panel work still looks just really amazing. Very, very nice. A lot better than a lot of the newer aircraft that came out. So we have the battery on. We're going to go ahead and turn on the ground power here. We're going to turn on the hydraulic pumps, and then we're going to look here. We're going to start left to right, top to bottom. Flight control switches, everything here good. Yaw damper is fine. We're going to turn the left aft fuel pump in order to start the APU in just a second. Galley power on. Everything here looks good. Everything here looks good. And then we're going to come here. Circuit breakers are fine. Panel fine. Emergency lights are armed. No smoking. To the auto position, and fasten seatbelt signs are on. You can, by the way, click here and you can call the ground services, so you don't have to pop the panel from the menu or from the little overlay menu here. And you can also call the attendants to open or close the doors, which is, pretty cool. So that said, we can move here, and here everything's okay. We're going to turn on the window heat and ground test here for the anti-ice. Everything checks okay. Perfect. We're going to come here and test the cockpit voice recorder, and we can verify that it is working per design intent. We're going to come here to the air conditioning panel. We're going to just put this on auto normal on both sides. We're going to turn on the recirc fan, and we'll leave this left pack on auto. We're going to test this. All right, so our cruise altitude today is 35,000 feet. So we are going to dial this in here. All right, so that's 35,000 feet. Everything else here, we'll leave it alone. This is on ground. And we're going to turn on the position lights. And now we are ready to start programming the FMC. Let's cancel and just continue with a few more tests here. We're just going to make sure that the lights are okay here. Yep, everything illuminates. Perfect. And then before starting we're going to test here. That doesn't seem to do anything. Next, let's just very quickly make sure the tests here, we're going to test before we start the APU and the cargo fire test. And finally, we're going to come, there is no heat. All right, so let's go very quickly to the overhead panel. And we're going to test the cockpit flight recorder. Checks okay. Mach speed warning test 1, 2, and then we're going to set the adheres to nav mode. And the stall warning test 1 and 2 are tested, and everything here is in tip-top shape. Perfect. Now we can go, we'll cancel the master caution and start programming our flight plan into the flight management computer. Hello HD Sim, welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. If you have a good PC and display TV, then it seems you already spent a lot of dollars. Not the same plane. This is the classic 737. Yes, indeed. All right, so gross weight, we're going to take all the information from our pre-flight, so we can move this to the side. So the gross weight, I like how they've done this, so you can just copy everything here. So we're going to go to the gross weight, which is 54.2. So 54.2. I like the sound of the pad here. Why did not like that? Let's see. All right, let me go first to, I don't know why it shows here, but let's go to the position in it first. We're going to type in LFSB. That's where we are right now. We're going to go to the next page and select our GPS position. Next, let's go to the routes, and we are going to
Captain.
Hey, Benny, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome aboard. Mr. Boring, a good afternoon to you. All right, so LKPR. All right, and then we are going to come here to SimBrief. Let's see here, to Navigraph charts, but we'll fetch our SimBrief plan. So we are going to depart. Runway departure is through 33 through the Elb 7 November, which is the first one here. Let's go to the route. Let's scroll up here. Okay, so this is our route, the Yankee 715. So is it Yankee or yeah, Yankee 715, and we are going to exit at Hughes. Okay. That goes there. Okay, and the next is November 851. November 851, and we'll exit at Tedco. Tedco. Excellent. And then direct to Okiba. Okiba. Okay. And then direct to Koschi, I believe. Costi. Okay. All right. And then next page, we're going to go direct to Tonso. Tonso or Tonsu. So that's direct. Then it's Zulu 35 to Zulu 35 to Odomo. Odomo. Excellent. And then direct to Lomki. And then it's the arrival into our destination. So we're going to say here, we'll go back to the arrivals. And we're going to select the star, which is the Lomki 8 Sierra. Lomki 8 Sierra. And it's the ILS 24 through the Eraso transition. Right, so let's just double check and verify that here. If we go to the approach and select runway 24, it's the Eraso indeed. So we're going to select that, say route, activate, and execute. Perfect. Now we're going to just make sure there are no discontinuities here. Looks like there is one here. If we look at here, Eraso. So what we're going to do is we're going to select it here and execute, and now we got rid of the discontinuity. Okay, so next we can come here to the gross weight is 54.2, and we enter that. It will automatically calculate the zero fuel weight. We're going to verify it here, and it's showing the zero fuel weight as 47.5, which is close enough. The reserves, we're going to just put 2,000 or 2 tons of fuel. The current cost index for this flight is going to be 11. So there is 11. And the cruise altitude is 35,000 feet. The cruise winds are 256 and the speed is 71. And we'll enter that there. The ESA deviation is 10. So we're going to enter that here, and we're going to say execute. N1 limit, we'll leave this at the selected N1. Yeah, I think that's fine. Takeoff, we're going to select 5. The CG, you can get it here. So the CG is 20.5, and that gives us a trim of 4.3. And then we have our speeds here, 135, 137, and 145. Let's set our trim to 4.3. We can use 4. I think that's close enough. Okay. And everything here is good. So we can now go, it looks like we already have alignment. And we can now start the APU. All right, let's go ahead and start the APU. Low oil pressure, light illuminates, and the aircraft starting. So far, I think from the visual perspective, and considering how old this aircraft is, I think it really looks very, very good. So it really is standing the test of time. And the fact that it has not been updated, you know, is a real shame in my opinion, because I think this is probably one of the very best aircraft created for X-Plane. But we'll talk a little bit more about that once we are airborne. 732 just no. It's available for X-Plane 12, but it's quite expensive. Yeah, they brought in the compatibility with X-Plane 12, a long overdue. Really upgrade, but it is available for X-Plane 12. Okay, so if we look here, let's see. We want the weather, so let me go here and take a look. We have 1022, so we're going to zoom in here. 1022 is the altimeter, and we're going to set the altitude to our cruise altitude, which is 35,000 feet. All right, let's take a look here. All right, 35,000 feet is now set. Okay, perfect. The FJS Filmtree isn't X-Plane 12 compatible. Yeah, that's right. The 732 is just for X-Plane 11. That is true, Mr. Valera. You are absolutely right there. I thought you were referring to this aircraft. So, flight directors are on, and here we're going to set the speed to 145, which is V2. Actually, we'll add 10, so 155. So that's V2 plus 10, 55. And everything else here is good. So let's take a look. Looks like the APU is available. Check out those really nice sounds. Let's turn on our fuel pumps. And we're going to come here and turn on the APU bleed. Right, APU bleed is on. I've actually reduced the sounds so that they're not, too loud. But maybe I overdid it. So let me go to preferences here. And let's see, where's the master volume? Let me add it a little bit. And cockpit sound volumes there, airflow, maybe a little bit of that. And let's save that. Okay. I think you can hear the sounds more clearly now. All right. So everything's good here. We don't need the external power anymore. So we are going to go ahead and call ground crew to disconnect the APU. And we're going to turn on the anti-collision light. And we are now ready to go, guys. So let's go ahead and call the pushback truck. Let's cancel the master caution. Let's see, actually, yep, we need the pushback truck. So let's go ahead and say better pushback, start push.
To cockpit, please show me where you want to go.
All right, let me see here. Delete segment. All right, let's take a quick look here at the ground marking. They are a bit confusing. All right, so let me just put the aircraft here. There we go. Nope. There we go. All right, let's set it up there. Okay.
Run to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Tow is driving up, and everything's good. We're going to put the auto brake on rejected takeoff. Let's go to the second FMC unit. We'll set it on climb, and we'll put this one on the legs page. And now we have everything here looking good. Okay, let's go to the fix. We're going to put LK, PR, and it's runway 24, I believe. Oh, I think this is not Airbus, so we can't really do that, right? So we need to select the runway. So we need to say runway 24. I believe that's how you do it. It's not in the database. Is it R? Let me see here.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to
RW.
connect.
All right, let's try RW24. There we go. And the radial is 240 and 10. There we go. And now if we go to the plan page, one of the nice things about this aircraft, so you go to plan, it shows here, which is like a preview, which is pretty cool. And next we're going to go to the legs page and step through. There we go. That's the top of descent. And here we have our circle. Let me change this here. You guys can see it. There we go.
Connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
All right, looks like we are good to go. Let me set this back to map. So there's the map. And there's a lot of funny things going on here, but that's okay. Okay, so parking brake is released. There we go.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
I really love the texturing of the 7.3 Classic. The cockpit is a very realistic looking cockpit. Okay, so we can go ahead and start now. Let's put the pack off, and we'll begin with engine number 2. Perfect. Hello, Mr. Sergio. How are you doing today? Next plane, welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us here. Hello, Alex. Welcome. Glad to have you with us this evening. All right, and 20%. Engine number 2 is coming on. Check out those really nice sounds. All right, we have a good start on engine number 2. And here is engine number 1. The cockpit is, I have to say, is my favorite part in this aircraft. Again, you can see, again, the details on the panel. They're very, very nice texturing. All right, and engine number 1 coming on. Excellent. Greetings from Brazil, Mr. Avenger Games. Welcome aboard. QA setting up the fix. What are the first value and the second value separated with a... the first value is the radial, and the second is the ring in the radius of the ring in nautical miles. Yeah, the cockpit is very, very nice. All right, so we want to set the parking brake.
Disconnecting tow, standby.
All right, we have both engines now running. So engine start switches to continuous. We're going to turn on the gens. Again, lovely sounds there. And we're going to turn on the engine bleeds, APU bleed off, packs to auto. There we go. The isolation valve is auto. And duct overheat. That's because we can... Yeah, there we go. The reason why we got that is we had dual bleeds on. I don't know why. I don't know if this is true to life, but it happens with the aircraft. All right, pitot static is on, and we can now turn off the APU. Excellent. Let's go ahead and set our flaps. Flaps 5. Now, here is where you can see how dated the aircraft is. The texturing of the wings, while for the time of the original release of the aircraft was acceptable, this is definitely not acceptable in terms of the texturing. You can see how flawed the texturing is. You know, it doesn't really look very good as far as I'm concerned. You know, there are some details, but it just doesn't look right. And this is one of the things I think that we were promised that we're going to get fixed, you know, about 2 years ago. So, yeah. All right. Here's the second one here. Again, you can look at the wing here. All right. So, again, I can't get over how beautiful this cockpit is. Okay, so everything here is good, and we can now turn on our taxi lights. Taxi lights on. Let's do the flight control check. So we're going to do full right, full left, full up, full down, pedal, full right, pedal, full left, and the flight control check is now complete, and we are ready to taxi. So parking brake is released, and off we go. Again, the sounds are just exceptional, again, on this aircraft. You can see the colors of the liveries isn't very... I think it's probably, in real life, it's a bit darker. But again, yeah, nothing's been updated for this aircraft in a very long time. But again, you can see the details there. I mean, I really don't know why this project has been just completely abandoned. So, what it seems to be the case is that it's been abandoned. All right. I guess works even with cats. All right, so we're taking runway 33, which is to our left. And I'm glad we got 33 because the other runway on the right side is very, very far away, and it would have been a very long taxi. looks really, really good. Considering the age of this aircraft, yeah, looks very good. Look at those engines. All right. We're going to make the turn here on the taxiway and head over to runway 33. Taxiway Bravo. And we'll just continue to the far end of the taxiway Bravo and make the turn for our runway, which is runway 33. Again, you can take a look here as the you can see the shadows, how nice they are now in X-Plane 12. Looking very, very good. I think we're a bit too fast here. Let's slow the aircraft down. And here's a look again at the wings.
Just a little something for the community.
Oh, Carl, thank you so very much for coming in with $20 US. Really, really appreciate that, Carl. you know, Carl, you know, you know, you make me blush just how much you support this channel. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you. All right, so we have a runway. We're going to cross this runway here. And let me see here. Very quickly, let's come over to our Navigraph charts. Let me remove that. Let's bring up. All right, so that's where we are. And runway 33 is straight ahead. So we're just going to cross this runway. There we go. Oh, Carl, did you gift just 10 memberships? Gee, thank you so much, Carl, again. Guys, Carl has just given away 10 Q8 pilot memberships. Thank you very much, Carl. Really appreciate that. Very, very kind of you. Guys, if you have received a membership, gifted membership from Carl, please be sure to say thank you. And a huge, huge thank you to you, Carl. I really, really appreciate that. Very, very kind of you, sir. All right. So here we're going to make the turn. And we are good to go. Cabin crew seats for takeoff, please. All right. Here is our turn for 3-3. All right. We're going to arm the auto throttle. And here's the turn. Runway ahead. Landing lights, runway turn-off lights, strobe lights, and taxi light off. All right, we're going to just continue a little bit there until the very beginning of the runway. Carl is on the roll. Yeah, thanks again, Carl. Really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. Very, very kind of you, sir. Okay, so we are all good to go here. Now, one thing I do want to show you, and maybe it's a little bit different from the 737-8 or the modern aircraft. The toga button is located right here, and it's kind of in a place where you can't really see it properly, but it works. So we are going to use the toga button just as soon as we arrive at the very beginning of the run. Actually, we can do it now. We can go ahead and, but let's just, yeah, let's just, you know, taxi all the way to the beginning there of the runway. You can see again the lighting inside the cockpit is very, very well done on this aircraft. Looks amazing during nighttime. One of the best, by the way. The night lighting, the sound, the overall texturing of the aircraft, considering the age of it, is just phenomenal. But we'll talk a little bit more about, you know, the different. The biggest thing is this aircraft has not received any updates in 2 years, and I'm quite surprised it actually works still, considering how many iterations of X-Plane we've had. It actually works pretty well. So all right, so here we are. Let's go ahead and we'll put that on 40%, and there's our button right there, and toga. All right. All right, we're waiting for V1. V1, rotate. Positive rate of climb, and gears going up. All right, let's not get carried away with the views there. All right, that's about right. 15-degree pitch. Okay, looking good. N1, VNAV, LNAV. Landing gear to the off position. And let's go ahead and engage autopilot A. Listen to the stabilizer trim there. Just beautiful sounds. You can see the landing lights, how extended they are. Extended. Check out those sounds. Very, very nice. All right, let's begin retracting the flaps. Again, the animation, I'm not too crazy about the flap animation there. All right. 5,000 feet approximately, so we're going to set the altimeter to standard. All right, 292. Let's set this to 40. 40 is fine. Engine switches to off, and let's see. Yeah, all's looking good there. Highly immersive cockpit with definitely the sounds. And I recall when the aircraft was originally released for X-Plane 10, it had the very best rain effect on the windshield. It was just amazing. The representation of the raindrops on the windshield was just the best that I've seen. Unfortunately, that was changed later in this version to take advantage of the available rain effect of X-Plane. So it is now built in, and hence it was changed to adopt what's already available in X-Plane. Look out, the MD-11 or the SG both should still work in X-Plane 11. Do you use auto-ortho or something? No, I'm not using anything. All the scenery today is default to X-Plane 12. Right, we are approximately at 10,000 feet, so landing lights are off, runway turn-off lights are off, and we are going to put the fasten seatbelt sign on auto. And all is good here. Everything is good. We forgot our yaw damper. All right, so all is good here. We're going to turn on the weather system. And we can put the terrain radar here. I don't think the weather system works. But yeah, we'll have the terrain radar. It doesn't work on this side, so it is in-op here. So it only works on the captain side for some reason. All right, so 2 years ago, just a little bit under 2 years ago, we had an interview with Tom Kyler, the developer or the lead developer of the IXEG 737. Now, the actual initial release of the 737 was delayed many times, and back then the development group of IXEG were a group of engineers that had, their own lives and their own jobs, and they were developing this project strictly out of passion. And when the product was released, I think it really made some noise. It was an aircraft that by all standards was a top-notch, high-quality payware for X-Plane 10. And it had immaculate textures, beautiful 3D modeling, very immersive sounds. The rain effect was something that we see for the very first time, really seeing a proper representation of rain or raindrops on the windshield. The aircraft was definitely a huge success for the IXEG development group. After the initial release, the updates slowed down significantly, and we've had pretty much no updates until the new version of X-Plane came about. And that's when we've had a few more updates. Over the course of the entire history of this aircraft, it has received very little updates. Now, that said, when Tom decided then to dedicate himself full-time to the development project or developing payware, he took on the project of making the aircraft again compatible with X-Plane 12, which is again very commendable. That you take your aircraft and just go 2 years ago when the aircraft was made available for X-Plane 12. I jumped immediately on the opportunity to upgrade, and I purchased the aircraft, which today cost $85. That's more expensive than Phoenix, more expensive than PMDG, more expensive than the FS Labs. I think it's more expensive than all of these high-fidelity, top-notch payware available today for Microsoft Flight Sim, and it is probably it's more expensive than all the other payware in. Maybe it's at par with the tallest aircraft, but it had received no updates whatsoever. When he came on the stream, he actually said that there is a very clear roadmap for this aircraft. Unfortunately, though, we have not seen anything since September 2023, which, puts a lot of doubts in my head as to what happened to Tom. Is Tom okay? And I hope, in all honesty, I hope that he is okay, and that the project is still on. But if I'm going to objectively evaluate this aircraft by today's standards, I would say that the textures are not bad on the exterior. They are okay on the exterior. They look actually pretty good. They're acceptable, except for maybe the aircraft wings, which I think needs some serious work. The interior of the aircraft looks really, really good. The cockpit actually looks very good. It can still use some improvements, and you can see how the seats are here. Actually, they look pretty good. Considering this is X-Plane, It actually looks really, really good. So if I go to the cabin, again, the cabin doesn't look bad. And this is, this is a really nicely modeled cabin. I mean, considering, again, the price point, I would expect something a little better than that for the cabin as well. But it's not bad at all, okay? So in terms of the texturing, I think it still is, holding up pretty well, considering how old it is. And what is really problematic is the flight model needs updating for this aircraft. Especially, you'll feel that during landings. There's something very wrong where the nose gear just immediately drops. So you have to kind of keep the throttle and keep the speed until the actual landing gear hit the ground and then retard the throttles. If you do it even a second before that, and if you just reduce the power a little bit, the aircraft just dips, which is highly unrealistic. So there is something definitely wrong with the flight model that needs fixing. It needs to be tweaked in order to take advantage of the latest flight model changes made in X-Plane 12. So the other thing that is, substantially lacking is the depth of systems. If you are charging $85 for the aircraft, it better have, a proper EFB, which this aircraft doesn't have. It's got very, very modest and very rudimentary functions and options here. The failures seems to be simulated there, but again, very rudimentary set of failures there that we can simulate, so you can fail some of the hydraulics and some of the electrical systems, but and this is again the interface of the EFB is just really lacking. Of course, no integration with SimBrief. This is an absolute must now. No integration with Navigraph charts, an absolute must now. And overall, if I am to look and compare this aircraft, value for money of this aircraft versus what's available today, this aircraft is definitely, by today's standards, way overpriced for an aircraft that, is lacking all of the things that I just mentioned. And on top of that, has not received a single update in just about, in about 2 years of time. So I really don't know what is the status again. It's a problematic aircraft. It is flyable. I think it's still enjoyable. I personally enjoy flying the IXEG for two reasons. One, it's a classic Boeing 737. I like Boeings. I like classics, and this has, both. It's a classic and it's a Boeing. So I really like that. The other thing is it's got, a very, very nice looking cockpit. Even I believe V1 Simulations, when he purchased this aircraft, he was really praising how well the cockpit is. And he's done it right after the stream that I've done with Tom, I believe. So yeah, a very immersive cockpit. Now, also, if you look at the FMC, the order in which the screens appear is not correct. So normally, when the FMC is powered up, you normally go to the IDIP page, and this one goes to the perf page, which isn't correct. So other issues there as well. So if I go here to the menu, and this one again doesn't work. Looks like this is it was planned future expansion, but it doesn't work. But if I go here to the index again, there are a lot of things I think missing here as well. So I think there are more options there, but unfortunately, it's not there. I'm going to go ahead and we'll worry about that a little later. So let me go to the next page here. And then of course, if you come also, the terrain radar isn't functional on this side. The weather radar is not operational. So lots and lots of missing features. No EFB, a flawed flight model at this point. A lot of things that just are not what you'd expect from an aircraft that costs this much. By the way, there is a really nice feature in this aircraft, is if you click here, you get the checklist, And this is something that you can change. I just thought I'd let you know for those of you who do not know. And the oxygen is also something you can test, which we didn't. You have this light here, and you have the flashlight, which is pretty cool as well. So again, at the time of the release of this aircraft, it was really a big thing. It was really one of the very best available add-ons for flight sim. Very high fidelity, but we did not really, at that point in time, you know, things were not as accessible as they are today. And flight sim, generally speaking, flight sim has really progressed and transformed over the past 4 or 5 years. And things that we never thought were possible are definitely possible now. And we are starting to see some, very high fidelity, very realistic simulation of different type of aircrafts, including general aviation, airliners. We've seen, for example, the INI builds, the tallest aircraft, the 747 Classic by Felis is an absolutely amazing aircraft. It's a masterpiece of an aircraft. Of course, not to mention the Fly JSIM Q4XP. So we've had many, many very high fidelity aircraft. And this really has redefined the standards and has redefined our expectations as consumers of what we expect for paying $85 for an add-on. So, in its current state, my final verdict on the IXEG 737 as of today, it's definitely not worth buying. It's an aircraft that's been, I think, abandoned. I could be mistaken, by the way. I don't know. But I think it's, as the title of the stream suggested, is it grounded forever or is it ready for takeoff? I think it's grounded forever. That's my personal view. Because after all this time, I just haven't seen anything that suggests otherwise. So, yeah. Let me see here. I prefer LU sounds, but do agree as well that Zibo is better and more in-depth. Oh, for sure. Q8 wanted to ask you if you have add-ons for what's that? Add-ons for X-Plane 11, but you can buy only one add-on for X-Plane 11, which would it be? Not the Zibo 737 because it's free. Well, I haven't used X-Plane 11 in a very, very long time, but I would definitely buy the 747 Classic by Felis. Hello there, Anthony. Welcome. The developers have had issues for years with the promises, constantly making excuses. I understand life happens, that when you put a product out there at that price, you need to maintain it and communicate. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's exactly what my problem is with the IXEG group and specifically with Tom, because that is something that he probably needed to address the community. Truth, I don't even think there is an internet presence by any of the devs. Oh, really? AJ, by the way, welcome aboard, AJ. Glad to have you here. Always a pleasure having you on stream, AJ. Q8 doesn't fly yet. That's true. I have a question. Go ahead, that piloteer. Of course, I hope they are healthy and okay, but yeah. I definitely share those thoughts. I hope they are healthy, they are okay and well. But yeah, what camera mods and visual mods do you use? I love your videos and love how your X-Plane looks. I use X camera. That's the only mod I use, but I don't use anything else for scenery enhancement. Mr. Elton Souza. Mr. Elton Souza, welcome. Thanks, Q8 and all the passengers. I have to go now. We'll continue to record the stream tonight and stay safe. Enjoy your flight. Well, thank you very much, sir. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope that you are well. Right, so let me just take a look here. Okay, so everything here is looking good. About 3,000 feet till the top of climb, as you can see here. Let's take a quick look at the outside. Very nice clouds in X-Plane 12. Very smooth. Yeah, definitely a quality add-on at the time of release. It's really a shame that it hasn't received you know, the care that it truly deserves. So, yeah. Those planes are the reason I keep X-Plane 11. Using default sounds or the Mango sound pack. I'm using the default sounds of the aircraft. Yeah, I'm not using the Mango sound pack. No worries at all. GX. Next plane, welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us this evening. So, I am going to be streaming again, guys, next Saturday. And we are going to be taking a look at the BFU, as you guys call it, the Big Phoenix update. I have loaded the aircraft just once. I've been very busy lately, and I am really developing interest in other areas. So I am going to be starting a brand new channel, by the way, very soon. I will give you guys all the details a little later. It's not going to be something related to flight simulation, but I'll give you the links. I'll give you the channel name and links and all that good stuff once it is live. So I have been developing a lot of interest in generative AI, and I've been really learning a lot in the past few months, and I've gotten to the point where I'm really hooked on it, and developing some really cool applications. Helps build a financial analysis model for the guys at work, and things are just it's brilliant. It's just really brilliant how you can be so productive in a really can accomplish things in a fraction of the time with the use of AI. So yeah, so another channel is coming very soon, and I'll keep you guys posted there as well. Right, so now that we are airborne, I want to show you guys a little bit here just on the preferences here. Just maybe go a little bit and show you. You can disable the mini EHSI window, which is the one that appears when you do this here. So if I come here and do that, you see this. I don't see why you disable. I think this is one of the best options in the aircraft, but yeah, there you go. You can disable the ghost throttles. I don't recommend that you do that. If you do have this plane, I think keep it. Disable the menu prompts, mouse for throttle if you're in VR, no locking. So I guess it's VR compatible. Single engine ops, that is something. So single engine means that whenever you are using a dual throttle hardware set up with, so that's for your throttle 1 and throttle 2. Pause sim at TOD. I never use this option. I really don't understand why this option is in every single aircraft that I've seen thus far. I never use this option. I think it's highly unrealistic, so I don't use it. Then again, real-time refueling, you can use that. You can use AviTab as well if you want. So at least it's got AviTab, but it doesn't really have anything. It's just really AviTab integration. You can click it there for your charts and whatever. So I'm just going to remove that. You can sync the pilot and co-pilot instruments, and you can auto set the V-speed bugs. So again, a little useful, stuff maybe for people using VR. I prefer to set them manually here. You can also check here and say the aircraft has eyebrow windows, and you can see now this here. So you can see this option here, and some of the 737s had this option. I just think it brings in too much light. So I prefer this one here. And that's pretty much it here. For the pre-flight we've seen, we've used this to set up the aircraft. Again, very, very basic, very rudimentary sort of pre-flights and loading the aircraft. Again, no integration with SimBrief. Distance to destination doesn't really work very well. So I always use the values myself here. Ground services, you can open the cargo doors, connect the air supply, ground power unit. Cabin crew is where you can manipulate all the doors. This was a big request, by the way, of when the aircraft was released, because the doors were inoperable at the time of release. And then you've got your failures here. I guess they are also relying on the failures that are available by default in X-Plane. So yeah. So let's take a quick look at our flight here, see where we are. And top of descent is in 121 nautical miles, so we are not too far from our destination. We are going to come to the init reference here, and we are going to note the ILS frequency, which is 109.10, and we're going to enter it here, 109.10. And we're going to replicate that here, 109.10. Okay, perfect. Now we have the ILS frequencies. We want to put this on VHF1, and we'll leave this on PA. And next we're going to come here and set the approach course to 240. Okay, 220 and 240. And we'll do the same thing on the first officer side as well. All right, 240. Perfect. Okay. I guess this works. Yeah. Really an aircraft that was, very well thought of when it was originally developed and released for X-Plane. Just really truly a bummer that it's been just abandoned. Rain Gentle, sadly I gave up using the IXEG because of my Mac setup. It just didn't work properly and caused the sim to crash. Oh really? They do advertise that it works on Mac. What is your favorite flight simulator? Well, I think I've answered this. This is probably the top question asked on the channel, is which one is my favorite flight simulator. Well, look, I enjoy Microsoft Flight Sim and X-Plane for different reasons, but I always have a preference for X-Plane. So to answer your question without beating around the bush, I prefer X-Plane. X-Plane is my favorite flight sim. Has IXEG really been abandoned? Well, it looks that way. There has been no updates in the last 2 years, so I suppose that it is. Q8, do you think the Indibuild's A340 will come out before the toolless Airsoft A340 for Microsoft Flight Sim? I don't know. I really don't know. But I will tell you this, guys. If I'm given the choice to select between Indibuild's A340 and toolless and Airsoft A340, I will more than likely go with the toolless Airsoft. I know how toolless are when it comes to Airbus. They have vast experience with the A340 for X-Plane, and I know that Airsoft are very good with the visuals. So the Indibuild's aircraft, especially their A350, which is probably their most advanced project to date, is just horrible when it comes to performance, and I haven't really seen any improvement over the performance. They've been fixing the aircraft. They've been really working hard to update the aircraft and fix things, and with every update there is a host of fixes and issues, but the performance remains to be an issue with that aircraft. So I will be probably more than likely I will have a greater tendency to go with the toolless / Airsoft aircraft. And he's doing the A340, 300, and toolless Airsoft, the 600. Yeah. So I'll probably go for... Yeah, there are two different variants of the aircraft. But, yeah. I've been out of the loop. Is there any new passenger planes coming out for X-Plane 12 soon? There is the toolless is working on a... Airfoil Labs is working on a 7.3 MAX. Toolless is working with Flight Factor on a was it a 787? I think. So there are a few, but there is no timeline at this point. Next flight in DR Punta Cana to Saint Martin, please. Ah, okay. Got you. Yeah, I need to do a flight to Saint Martin. I think I haven't done that in Fish Burp 8350. Welcome. Okay. So 86 nautical miles before we begin our descent. Look at those clouds, guys. Again, we're flying, by the way, in real time, real weather today. So we are tracking real time across the route today for our flight. AFL 737 MAX really far away from release. Yeah, it does look that way, Max. And Max, thank you very much for the support. Dominican Republic. Oh, thanks, Carl. I didn't know. Yeah, I was going to look it up later. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate that. FF and Tolis are working on the A350 version 2. Ah, that's right. Thank you very much for the update there, Fishburg. Thank you. Or anyone, do you like the Rolls-Royce engines on the... I personally prefer the Pratt & Whitney or the GE. The Rolls-Royce are fine as well. Hello, Johan. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here with us this evening. Our experience, thanks for the support. Flight Factor 787, yeah. We'll have a stream on the Flight Factor 777 with the new RR engines. Sure, we can do that. Hello, Karen. Welcome aboard. Q8 just saying hi. You're one of the best channels on these sims. Keep it up. Really enjoy them when I get the chance to view them. Hope you and the family are in good spirits. Thank you very much, Karen. I hope you are the same, my friend. Appreciate your kind words, sir. Means a lot. I can also say that the Wing PFP 3N does not work with this plane, and there is no multi-flight profiles at the moment. Oh, that's a bummer. Where are we? We are flying to Prague in the Czech Republic. I disable X camera? I think I did. Yeah. All right, so I just want to show you again the texturing here. So you can see when this was originally released, this must have been something that was jaw-dropping for a lot of us. It still is pretty good, but I think it just really needs work. Again, here you can see it here. And you can look at the details there. I think the panel work here, you look at the details on those little switches. Again, not highest resolution possible, but it still looks really, really good. And then if you look down here, let me go down here and look upwards. There you can see, look at this, the wiring there. There. You can see it better here. Look at that. I mean, this is really some good work. And you can even see the... Look, you can see the text there, not very clear, but you can see it. So, yeah. So, again, considering the age of the aircraft, I think the fidelity of the texturing at the time of the release it's just amazing, really. For its time, it was really good. There's a lot more, more high-fidelity aircraft, of course, available today. Things have changed on the flight sim scene, without a doubt. Hi Q8, do you plan on streaming the A346 anytime soon? Actually, I was thinking to stream it after our Phoenix stream on, so maybe next Tuesday. Correct, AJ. Yes, the night lighting on this aircraft is just absolutely out of this world. Very, very good. Maybe we'll show that once we land over at Prague. We'll take a look at that. But I think it's really, really very well done. By the way, the circuit breakers, again, are not modeled on this aircraft. I think this is now like standard for, you know, if you're charging $85 for the aircraft, all circuit breakers must be fully modeled visually and are functional. That's like a must. Even if you never use them, they should still be there, in my opinion. You know, for those who want to you know, simulate certain failures, or, you know, pull a fuse and see what happens, or study the aircraft, probably. I remember this aircraft when it came. I think, you know, the term study level, I think, was used a lot with this aircraft. But it's anything but study level at this point in time. Yeah, I think the Tolis A340 is an aircraft that we haven't flown in a very long time, and I've sort of, you know, I'm going backwards and looking some of the aircraft that we haven't flown in quite some time. One of which was the Tolis, the other one is the Challenger 650. So it has received, I think, after the last update, I haven't flown the aircraft. So maybe we need to schedule a stream for the Challenger as well. Someone probably already asked you this question, but what is your favorite plane? X-plane, in real life, whatever. Well, in real life, my absolute favorite is the Boeing 777-300ER. I love that plane. I love how it looks. I love the engines. I love its sounds. So yeah, it is my absolute favorite plane to look at. Okay, so I like the way it looks. My favorite as a passenger is the A380. It is the single most comfortable aircraft and quiet, well, relatively speaking, quiet aircraft that I've flown on. In the sim, I don't have one specific favorite. I have a lot of favorites, but I would say that the Tolis, the 747 Classic by Felis, and of course, recently, probably one of my most favorite is the 777 by Flight Factor, followed by the FlyJSim Dash 8 Q400. So that's how I would probably rank number one, number two, if that means anything. But yeah, I don't have one single favorite. I like them for different things. They are obviously very different. One of the things I really like in X-Plane is each aircraft has very unique flight characteristics, and you can actually feel it in the sim. Something that you don't really often get with Microsoft Flight Sim, unless you're buying all the default aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim pretty much fly the same, and this is not the case in X-Plane. I'm flying the 777 version 2 as we speak. Fantastic airplane. It is, yes, without a doubt. I'm excited for the hot start TBM 900 coming back to X-Plane 12. Gonna do so much with, yeah, that is beautiful. This is better than the CSS 737. I don't think we can compare them. I personally, if there was only a choice between this and the CSS 737, no, I'll stick with the IXEG. Thank you very much. All right, so let me set my altitude, my heading bug here, and we are going to reset the MCP altitude as we are now approaching the top of descent mark. So the let's see here, approach 24 is 4,000. All right, so let's reset that to 4,000, and the aircraft will begin the automatic descent. There we go. All right. So we should begin the descent now in approximately 8 nautical miles to top of descent. And the aircraft should begin the automatic descent towards our destination, which is today Prague. Here is again the arrival. Now, the VNAV, we might need to intervene a little bit in the descent rate. Let's take a quick look here and see what Navigraph is saying. So if we look here, it's saying that we need to start descending at 3,600 feet per minute. So the calculation is definitely off for the top of descent and top of climb for this aircraft. So what I'm going to do, folks, is the following. I do want to show you that the automatic descent starts automatically, but then we are going to need to intervene and do a faster rate of descent. You can see now the throttle has retarded, and now the aircraft has begun the descent towards our destination. You'll see that we are way too high for the current sector of the flight, so definitely manual intervention will be required. All right. Prague, my home. Oh, very cool. All right. So it says drag is required. So let me extend the speed brake. Okay. And you'll also see that we are descending at 4,000 feet per minute. And what Navigraph charts is saying is that we need to indeed descend at 4,000 feet per minute. So the aircraft knows that the TD calculation was probably off. So we are currently descending at a very high rate, which is extremely uncomfortable for passengers, but nonetheless is required. So let's see what happens here as we continue towards Prague. Yeah, we're still high for the sector. There was a bit of a jitter there. Let's see. The current remaining 14 nautical miles. Yeah, we are definitely going to need to continue at this rate of descent. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to manual. We'll leave this at 4,000 for now. Yeah, very uncomfortable descent rate, but we're going to need it if we are to make it. So we'll adjust that a little bit later. All right, so the transition altitude is 5,000 feet. And if I go here to our approach plate, yeah, it's 5,000 feet. And if I look at the weather at Prague, 350 10 knot, so not smooth, but not bad. And it looks like we're going to have some tailwind. Yeah, 3 knot tailwind, 9 knot crosswind from the right. So yeah, we got to be careful as we arrive into our destination. All right. We'll leave that alone now, and we'll continue the descent. Look at those clouds. Wow, looks really nice. The sounds are exceptional. Seems takes a long time to develop X-plane plane. Some take over 5 years. Definitely, John. Yeah. There isn't really that many active developers anymore on the X-plane scene, unfortunately. But the ones who stuck their guns, I think, are doing well. And they continue to produce very high fidelity aircraft for X-plane. All right, so we are almost at our destination now. I'm going to continue with the current rate of descent. Simply because, yeah, you see this here, it says 3,004, so I'll just keep it at 4,000 now. We'll switch back to VNAV a little later, and I'm going to reduce the speed here to 240 knots. There we go. Yeah, definitely the TD calculation is off. Here's our 10 nautical mile ring. And the platform altitude is 4,000 feet. Again, look at the details there. Very, very nice details. All right, everything is configured. We're going to set the auto brakes to 2. And by the way, we should have put the transponder. We're not flying on with ATC today, but this should have been on TARA. I'll leave this on auto. This can stay on 7,000. Yeah, something I tend to forget when I'm doing an offline flight. Again, the lights are really nice on this aircraft. We'll take a look at those once we arrive into Prague. Right, we're approaching 10,000 feet. Landing lights on. Runway turn-off lights. And we are going to put the engine start switches to continuous. And you can see here how beautiful this, and we can also come here to the, see that flicker? I think you'll see it better once it's nighttime, so we'll take a look at that a little later. Those clouds are looking fantastic. All right, so if I look here, we definitely need to reduce our rate of descent. So let me go to 2,000. I think we're good now. So our speed is, we're below 10,000 feet, so we need to be at 250. So let's go ahead and allow the aircraft to decelerate now, as I think we are okay. All right, let me go to VNAV. And I think we're good. We'll reduce the speed now to 240 knots. Okay, what is it saying? Drag is required. Okay, we'll leave that. We'll let the aircraft decelerate. We'll keep the speed brakes extended. It's going to be a cloudy arrival. All right. We are going to set this to 20 nautical miles. All right, and 240. Okay. Arm the speed brakes. And the aircraft should now begin descending again. What's the current speed? 240. Yeah. Are there any restrictions? There are a few restrictions. All right. So we are at 7,000. And it looks like, yeah, we do need to We need to be at 4,000, so we are 3,000 feet above the altitude there. So let's see how the aircraft behaves at this point. And you can see the speed management again is not 100%. And if we go back to... Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can definitely descend manually. Again, we are at 7,100. We have about 3,000 feet to clear for our platform altitude. He showed the preview on this laptop on the docks. Looks amazing. Cloudy weather in Prague. Oh, that's good, JK Pilot. I'm glad that we have somebody to confirm. All right. I am going to do VS here because this is not doing what it's supposed to do. And we'll descend at 1,900 feet per minute. I'm going to extend the speed brakes again. Yeah, the calculation for the VNAV, LNAV as well sometimes is not 100%. We are approximately, yeah, I think we can go for the altimeter setting now. So the weather altimeter is 1019. So 1019. There we go. And we continue the descent now towards Prague. Okay, 2,000 feet to go. This view is sensational. All right. Let's go back to 47. Let's go to VNAV. All right. I think we're good now. Altitude alert. That's a first. Okay, let's set that. All right. So now pretty much LNAV and VNAV are activated. Looks like it is. Yeah, you'll keep hearing the aircraft speed coming, increasing, decreasing. So it, for some reason, it just doesn't really maintain the speed properly according to the FMC. So it keeps changing. It fluctuates too much. Looks like it is raining, so we'll get to see the rain effect at least, which is cool. And we're going into the clouds here, so my recommendation is that we turn on the wing anti-ice and engine anti-ice as well. Yeah, the last thing we want is ice forming on the wings at this point. That was a very brief, shower there. All right. We're coming up for the turn. Here we are. Let's turn off the engine anti-ice there. We don't need those anymore. And now we are going to switch to 10 nautical miles. There we go. That's our turn. Right, the aircraft is now descending. You know, we got to keep an eye. All right. So now, if you see here, we have the localizer and glide slope needles there appearing. And we can see this is the 10 nautical mile ring. So we are pretty close now. We are going to go ahead and activate the approach. Look at those landing lights. Beautiful. All right, localizer has been captured. If you want a general guide on how to use the NTIs, it's engine NTIs with an ought of 10C or lower, and wing NTIs with accumulation of ice on windshield or wing. Thank you, Max. Appreciate that. Hello, Benjamin. Welcome aboard. Right, we are at exactly 4,000 feet. Here's our 10 nautical mile ring. And we can see the runway in sight there as we arrive into Prague. Looks like we are going to get a little bit of rain every now and then. I don't know why this is something that happens. I'm not sure if it's raining currently in Prague. We can probably, let's see here, a few clouds. There's nothing in the METAR that suggests rain, but nonetheless we are getting, some rain here, and this is very, very cool. It's definitely raining. All right, let's go ahead and do flaps 5. Flaps 5 selected. Now, the only thing with the replay when we do it later is that we will not have any sounds. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and select flaps 15, lower the landing gear. The sounds are really, really nice. I need to set the speed here. Did we set the speed? We did not. So we're going to do flaps 30 and 143. My bad. All right. There we go. All right. All right, hopefully we can get to the speed. There we go, and flaps 30. All right, 1,000. Let's go ahead and disconnect the autopilot, but first let me set the throttle there. All right, let's disconnect. Let me set up my view. All right, my aircraft. Ladies and gents, welcome to Prague. Mishandled that approach a little bit. All right. And we are down in one piece, ladies and gents. Okay, and I had to maintain the throttle. By the way, I think this Prague airport might be payware, but I'm not sure. I don't think so. I had to maintain the throttle for a while there, so that, you know, we don't have the nose dip. So you got to kind of trick the aircraft a little bit so that you don't get that dip. So keep the speed as much as possible, but then yeah, you might get a float there. So yeah, this might be a payware airport. I'm not sure. I forget what I install. All right, let's take a quick look here at our landing. Now, the only thing with the replay is I don't think we'll hear the engine sound, so it kind of, we just lose the engine sounds, but we'll be able to visualize it. Please don't you crash on me. All right, thank you, Explain. Thank you, Laminar. All right. So let's take a quick look here at the landing. I think we touched down at the very end of the touchdown zone. So, all right, so let's take a look here. Oh, we do get the engine sounds. Okay, cool. Let's remove that. Let's do one of my favorite views here. Look at the landing lights there. God, X-Plane is just amazing. We did float there a little bit, but eventually we brought it down nicely. Look at the reflection of the runway lights there on the aircraft fuselage. That's just amazing. All right, let's do it one more time. And we'll do it again. It looks like in the replay, I have to reset the reversers. All right, let's do it there. Okay, there we go. Let me reset the reversers. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? All right, we'll do it one more time with the wing view. There we go. Pretty snazzy stuff, isn't it? All right. All right. I think, guys, this is a I think this is a payware airport. The clouds look amazing. All right, let's clean up. All right, landing lights off. Runway turn off, lights off. Taxi on. And strobes are off. All right, one thing I want to show you guys, which I think is really cool, is I want to change the time here a little bit. I'm just afraid that it will... Let me change this there. Yeah, look at that. Look at those cockpit lights. And then if we turn this here, look at that. Now, isn't that cool? That is very cool. Yeah, very nice night lighting. So, yeah. Just I couldn't resist showing you guys the the night lighting because it's really, really nice. And especially when you come in for an approach with the runway lights, it's a very, very realistic lighting. Looks really good. Okay, let's go ahead and start the APU here. There we go. And we are approaching... You know what, guys? I think this is still default. I really am not sure, but I think this is the default prog. But it looks really good, doesn't it? FlyJSim set the standard a while back with the Q4XP, which the quality we now expect. Sort of, yeah. Still happy with the IXEG, but if I was buying it now, wouldn't be as tempting. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely, you wouldn't be as tempted now, especially at $85. 0 updates in 2 years, no EFB, no integration with SimBrief, really textures that are way, way dated and needs a lot of work. Yeah, definitely lots of things. Yeah, this is definitely not a payware prog. This is default X-plane airport, I think. I'm not sure. I have to check. All right, we're going to park here at stand 22. All right, and parking brake set. Excellent. The APU is on, and we can now turn off the engines. Again, very nice sounds. All right, taxi lights off. And we can turn on the APU bleed. And we can now turn off the... We'll leave the position light, anti-collision lights off. All right, and let's see. The jetway is coming to the aircraft. There we go. Very cool. The engines are really, really nice. All right. So back in the cockpit, we are going to go to the ground crew. First, we're going to come to the ground. We're going to tell them to connect the ground power. And then we're going to go to the cabin crew. Open forward passenger door. Open the... Let's see. Ground services. Open cargo doors. All right. And now we can see that the cargo doors are open. And you can also see... let me see. Let me show you here. You can see the passenger door is now open as well. So, and the aircraft is currently... we're getting our passengers deboarded right now from the aircraft. It looks like this is a payware prog. I'm not sure really which developer. but it really looks really nice, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, folks, this is pretty much it for our live stream today. I hope that I was able to provide you with a useful perspective on the status of the IXEG 7374 X-Plane 12. I hope that I've remained as objective as possible as well, and provided you with something useful that you can sort of decide for yourself whether it's something that you want to make an investment in or not. So I will be streaming again on Saturday as per our usual schedule, and it is going to be the Big Phoenix update where we're going to be probably doing a flight somewhere in Europe. I haven't decided on the route yet. But until then, guys, thank you very much for the support, for the interaction, for making this live stream really live. I really appreciate your presence, your interaction, your contributions, your support. It means a lot to me, guys. Thank you very much. And until we meet again, please take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you all very soon. Thanks for tuning in and have a lovely day. Bye-bye for now.